We're recording.
All right, welcome to another edition of KMS Brews. We got all the regulars on today, although we didn't meet one last week. So say hello, Minifan Kim Jong-un.
Hello.
What's up? Shank Fight Club.
How's it going, guys?
The Kirk's Desk. And Medium Poppy, Big Poppy, Little Poppy. I don't know what the fuck to call them. Whatever.
What's going on? They all fit.
So we decided that this week, even though it isn't traditionally Oktoberfest doesn't start till like the second week of September, that we're going to do some fall beers / Oktoberfest. Maybe we'll keep a theme and try to do these the next couple of weeks leading up to Oktoberfest. So at least myself, I'll start. This is just actually a fall seasonal by Harpoon. Used to be one of my go-tos back in the day, and I used to love their tour. This is their Flannel Friday. It's a hoppy amber ale. Really smooth, 5.7% crisp 35 IBUs. If you don't know what IBUs are, we can discuss that another time. What are you guys drinking?
So I get Oktoberfest from Von Trapp up in Vermont. So they stick to old German style. They're pretty strict with how they brew, and basically everything that they do follows old German traditions. And I think they're one of the more underrated breweries around. Even though they distribute quite a bit, I love those guys.
Now they're in the middle of Vermont too, so I mean they have so much competition up there. No, am I right?
They're in Stowe. It's right on Route 100 in Vermont, right on the way to Hale Farmstead. It's like right in the middle of Stowe, I believe.
Sure. So imagine being in the middle of it.
Right around the corner from Alchemist, so they, I'm sure they do get a little bit of that traffic, but they have a whole lodge and hotel and everything up there. So they get some good business from that.
It is the Von Trapp family from The Sound of Music, by the way.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, so that's what it reminds me of. Like I'm expecting
It is.
huge.
It is.
Nice
That's their family.
yeah.
That is hilarious.
Beautiful up there.
But no, they do really clean beer. Like that's what I've noticed. I've never really been insane for their stuff, but everything I've had has just been clean, which it can be tough to do. So let's go on to Kirk's Desk. What are you drinking?
So I try to switch it up a little bit, put a little spin on this. So I'm drinking the Oxbow 2011-2012 Oktoberfest. That's their blended beer. So it's their beer de garde that they do for Oktoberfest, and it's a little smoky. So 6% of it is fresh ale that was in 2012. The 2011 was the same beer, but that was aged in Riesling barrels. So German Riesling barrels. So it's a little smoky and got a malt background, but it also has a nice sour tart taste to it from the barrels. So it's a little twist on an Oktoberfest beer.
Wow, so they're using smoked malt in an Oktoberfest beer?
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's fantastic. It aged well. I mean, this is 8 years old right now, and it's tasting fantastic. Glad I have a couple more bottles in the basement.
And
Did you
Oxbow,
buy it when it was first bottled, or is that one that you just recently picked up?
No, I've been collecting their beer since the beginning, and so they used to bottle everything in their 750s.
Yep.
And this was probably about $10 back then, and now everything's in like the 16.9 ounces or something like that. So a lot smaller than they used to be. But yeah, these are the original ones. These were fantastic. Yeah. They used to be initially were the little snap tops too.
Yeah.
For the first couple brews that they did. So I still have some of those, but this was the cap.
doesn't Oxbow have like a really cheap 4-pack in the stores? You guys know what I'm talking about?
The Farmhouse Pale Ale, FPA. They've got a bunch of different stuff that they're brewing now. That's out in 4-packs. It's all farmhouse style, and lagers and stuff.
Their bottles have a lot of distro too with their bottles. I think Liquid Swords is one of the more popular ones.
Yeah.
I think I'm thinking of someone different.
Yeah, they got a ton of stuff out there now.
Cool. So Poppy, go on. What do you got?
All right, I'm doing a wild ale from Trillium today. It's called Armitage. So yeah, I'm down in the Cape. I don't have my cellar with me, but doing a little wild ale from Trillium. So yeah, we'll see how it is.
Oh, and I'm in Poppy's house, by the way. Just doing some house sitting.
Fuck.
Where are the condoms?
Magnums.
You flush them.
Motherfucker.
Hey, you know who's watching you? This guy right here. So take it up with him.
I'm atheist. Okay. So Kim Jong Un, what do you got?
So I got actually a true Oktoberfest from Germany, Eyinger. This was recommended by my beer guy. It's fantastic. It's a Bavarian, it's the true authentic Bavarian Oktoberfest. I just tried it literally 15 minutes ago, and I have to say I love it. It's very, very clean is what I like about it. It's much different than some of the ones I'm used to. I was talking with Shank about this, asked him about the Oktoberfest from Idle Hands. That and the Two Roads one are my favorite, normally for American style, but this one is absolutely fantastic. I'll get this again when I go over to the liquor store later this week. So I love it.
I'm gonna check it out. I definitely saw it. I'm gonna try it. And I gotta drink more Idle Hands too. You guys are always talking about Idle Hands. I've definitely had it, and I did enjoy it. Just I haven't had like an array of their stuff.
For our next segment, I already got one lined up for the IPAs.
There you go. I've definitely had that before, and it was very solid. So some good stuff all around. So Oktoberfest. Has anyone ever been to like a traditional Oktoberfest in Europe? Or I know.
I've been to Oktoberfest twice.
Wow.
So I went first time maybe 4 years ago, and I actually went last year. First time I went towards the end of it. Last year I went for the opening ceremony, which is just unbelievable. I mean, the entire city shows up at Oktoberfest, watches the parade. You have it's basically a giant carnival that has beer tents that everyone just goes and drinks all day, and you get full liter steins of beer, and all of the different breweries that are around the city have their own special tent throughout the Oktoberfest area. So you can go to a specific like Paulaner tent, an Eyinger tent, a Lowenbrau tent, and then that'll be all that they'll serve for beer, and they'll have food and everything. But yeah, they have rides, games, they have concession stands. So it's basically just a giant carnival centered around beer for an entire month, which is incredible.
So you went to the one in Munich? Is that where you went? Or
Yep.
Oh, nice. Because I know they do them in like Ireland. I mean, probably they do them obviously in the United States too. So
I actually the last leg of my trip 4 years ago ended up in Dublin, and I actually went to one in Dublin too, which was kind of cool. But yeah, it's unbelievable experience, and it's so much fun, and it's definitely overwhelming the first time you go, because you just have so many people in a tent. It's almost impossible to find a seat. You have people bumping into you. Everybody's drunk, but it's a great experience.
it's got to be different this year. It's going to suck. They're going to lose so much money with Corona, obviously.
They've already canceled it for
this
year. Yeah, it's just not happening.
Don't even pay attention. That's terrible.
Yeah.
Anybody been to any like around here or somewhere?
So I grew up in Walpole, to dox myself. I'm also German, so the German club is in Walpole, and every single year they do an Oktoberfest. And my dad used to drag my ass there when I was little, and I used to hate going because it's a lot of drinking, like eating. I like that part, but when I turned 21 and I started going, I started loving it. And me and my brother and our friends, we used to go every single year. It's fantastic. I mean, it's true. It's all they have is German beers. It's all true, authentic German food. It's absolutely fantastic. They do an unbelievable job, and it's right on 27, right past Bubbling Brook, going towards Medfield. It's awesome. Like next year when they have it again, I recommend anybody that wants to experience as close to what Shank just said on like here. That's as close as you're gonna get. It's an absolutely great time. I recommend taking an Uber because parking is absolutely impossible because it's gotten so popular over the years. But it's a great time. You want to have some good German food and good German beer. It's a great time. They also have some of the outside of the Oktoberfest, they have those they like sodas that are alcohol but they're beer. I can't remember the name of what they call them. I don't love them. Yeah, my brother loves drinking them. They're very low alcohol, but they're really, really good. It's a really good time. So German Club, Walpole, I recommend doing it if you want to experience an Oktoberfest stateside in Massachusetts.
Not to change subjects, but I mean, remember Not Your Father's Root Beer when that first came out?
Yes.
Before it was, mass produced and was sold out. That crap was going for so much money on secondary, and just everybody wanted to try it. So I could see it. And they had like they had a 6% version, they had like an 11% version, and like a 15% version. So I mean, I'd be interested in that actually. It's just like root beer.
Yeah, we have a brewery around here in South Portland called Foulmouth, which I'm a big fan of. Who they don't do much IPAs, which is, well, they make more IPAs now than they did before, but they still kind of focus more on German and just other styles, browns and some Belgian styles. And they have they're called Oktoberfest, which is based on their head brewer, and they make just fantastic German beers. So I'll go to that each fall. They have a little Stein holding competition, which I have not done because I'm not very strong. But I just sit there and drink the beers. It's like they go down so fast. They have the huge like 1 liter Steins that you can drink out, and it's fantastic. I love it. I love those beers.
We need to get Kirk to do a live show at an Oktoberfest. He probably wouldn't do it, but that would be sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mike.
I don't think Mike could handle that.
Yeah, have one beer. Pass out.
I bet would be awesome there is Steve. I bet you Steve can put him away and be like an awesome dude to bring to an Oktoberfest kind of party.
He'd probably he'd hold the Stein the entire show. He'd be there for 3 hours. Like what?
Yeah.
He'd be pushing the buttons, just holding the thing.
You just piss in it.
Well,
Yeah, he'd be pissing it.
what Shank said earlier reminded me, obviously, of the movie Beer Fest.
Oh yeah.
Have you guys ever been to the Fort out in Springfield?
No.
So it's a restaurant. It's a German restaurant. They actually have the glass boots where you can shoot the boot.
Nice.
It is awesome. They really don't want you doing it anymore because people are stealing all the boots. But if you can convince the bartender to let you do it, it is awesome. And it's true. Like, it is very hard to shoot that thing without it splashing all on your face.
Sure.
Just like in Beer Fest.
My dad bought me one for Christmas, I don't know, a while ago. It has a big Budweiser symbol on it, so I never use it. But I didn't try. I never really tried. I thought it was cool to have on my shelf. But yeah, that's pretty funny. So yeah, speaking of glasses, one of the things that we've been
I want to make a comment though. I want to make a comment before we go to the last part of it.
Go.
So I have a job for Jason from Attleboro because I think he watched the last show. So he doesn't follow me, by the way. So fuck him. But
whoa.
So, yeah. He's a big sneaker guy, and I think we're talking sneakers, Blind Mike sneakers or the other sneakers. But
listen, I love all sneakers. I'm just saying that now. He hates me.
I follow all sneakers. So Corrado. But have you heard of? Did you see the Adidas Oktoberfest sneakers that came out a few years back? I tried to get some. They were
I gotta look this up.
They were fucking fantastic. I keep saying fantastic. Fabulous. They're the Munich style that they have, and they were brown and like little beige, but they had Prost on it instead of Munchen, right? They had Prost on it.
Okay.
And they had like the checkered shoelaces, and inside was checkered, and the backside had a little design. So it was very all after Oktoberfest. And then they were waterproof and, as they call them, puke proof. So you could supposed to drink it, you wear them to the festival. And if you bought them, you got a free a Stein from Restal as well. So going into the glass section here, and they were I tried to buy some, but they sold out so quickly. So if Jason from Attleboro has those, or you can find some for us.
I'm looking. I don't see any.
That's awesome. And Restal or Rasta, whatever, they make like all the best glassware everywhere. And pretty much any company that has like official glassware made is usually done by them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Riedel
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. You see them? Yeah. They were nice.
I really like that.
Yeah.
They were
So
like
Jason's got swag.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Quick story. When I was at Oktoberfest last year, standing outside, and you walk through and you see people that are passed out all the time. It's usually Americans that are passed out because the Germans know how to handle themselves. But there was a guy who was laying down on one of the tables outside of one of the tents. So they have outdoor seating so everybody can smoke, and then indoor seating under the tent. But there's a guy who's laying down on the table, and he just threw up right on the table and rolled his face right into it. And security just came over, dragged him right through it, picked him up, and kicked him out. But it's stuff like that that you see from a distance, and it's, you know, it's sad but also kind of funny to see, because you can see people who just don't know how to handle themselves and are just totally just going way too hard. So it was one of those things that I'll just never forget, because I've just never seen anyone throw up, roll their face into it, and then just be dragged through it.
I think we've all been there or seen somebody been there, so can't hate too much. So, Kirk's desk, why did you want us to show this IPA glass? I feel like you had a story.
Yeah, there's something about this IPA glass. So I don't know. Maybe it's from. I think it's something that Blind Mike and his mom would be using more. So that whenever I look at that glass, I see.
I didn't know we were going there. Okay.
Yep.
I like that.
So this is the glass, and Kim Jong-un has it as well.
So I just see a butt plug whenever I see that glass, and so I can never drink anything out of that. And so I posted that a couple of times, and I've had a couple of brewers say, like, yeah, I won't drink out of it. It's like, it's the same thing. And so that why do you need to have a shape like that? You don't need a shape that looks like that. So,
so I got to say something, because I'm with you 100%. Poppy's going to hate this. Sean Hill's a douchebag. Like, glasses, in my opinion, don't fucking matter. And I went to an alcohol tasting 3 years ago, and we were tasting everything. You know, we had Poppy Van Winkle, we were doing, you know, Bordeaux, like, phenomenal time. And this one of the guys that was talking, he said, listen, he said, the perfect glass has already been made, because it's a red wine glass. He said that's the perfect glass for any type of, you know, drink that you're ever going to have, is a red wine glass. It opens anything up. All this other stuff is gimmicks. And I kind of believe that. Like, I know Sean Hill, the stories, I've heard the stories firsthand. He's gotten people fired from bars because they, you know, or pulled the line because they didn't use the right glass with his beer. I don't buy it. I really don't. I can never, you know, see the difference in any taste anytime I drink something. You know, a red wine glass, I think it's fine. I mean, I just hate when these people say, "Oh, with this beer, you need to have this glass. This beer, this." I don't buy it. I never will. Never have.
Sean Hill is also.
I have 4 words for you.
Sean Hill is also on the line of genius and insanity. He's kind of got that Kirk Minahan thing going on. So I could see.
Well, I appreciate that. That's a nice thing to say. Kim, I have 4 words for you. You're a dead man.
Oh my God. All right, delete this.
So I'll say this. Ultimately, I don't think it, you know, I appreciate proper glassware. I don't think it ultimately matters, but for me, I like the attention to detail when places do proper glassware, because it's so rare, and to me, it's nicer than just getting, you know, your typical pint glass from a bar. So when a place does have, when they have steins, when they have glasses for IPAs, when they have Belgian tulips, to me, that's just a small detail that tells me that they are really serious about what they're doing.
Thank you.
But that's, you know, is it really going to make the beer taste any different? Probably not. But it's a minor detail that I like that brewers or the owners do, because it's something you don't see very often.
Clean glass, clean lines. Clean glass, clean lines. It's all
I'd rather have a clean line.
Clean.
Yeah, do you guys also you also have a problem with like lingerie? That doesn't do anything, but it fucking improves the product.
Yeah, I would say, you know, I get a lot of glasses behind me on both sides. So I drink pretty much everything out of a Tiku glass at this point, unless it's a Belgian style. Then most of those I'll be drinking out of a tulip. I will not do a pint glass, because I do think that I think you can definitely tell the difference. You know, if you're putting a 12% imperial stout into a pint glass, and it's just like,
I hate pint glasses. I think they're the worst.
So, and I won't use but I think you can tell the difference. You drink something out of a solo cup, I think you can tell the difference. But the Tiku glass, I think, is the best right now. You can put everything in a Tiku glass.
So we definitely the name of this episode has to have something to do with lingerie and glassware. We have to do that.
And butt plugs?
Yeah. Okay. I poured mine too. I think it's a little dirty on the bottom, but
Yeah, of course, it's a butt plug.
Like,
but I'm doing the Treehouse Wanderer. It's their Hell's Lager. So
Kirk says, to your point though, like my biggest pet peeve though is when you go to a bar and it's the glass is cloudy or the glass has been cleaned correctly.
it's the
that
worst.
drives me fucking insane.
Especially a
Yeah.
pint glass, because those things, they're just so easy to clean. They're just huge. They're
So
wide.
ultimately, clean lines are the most important thing, because that's going to fuck up any beer or anything that's coming out of them. But assuming that a brewery is doing what they're supposed to be doing by cleaning the lines frequently and making sure that there's nothing sitting in there longer than it's supposed to, like I said, I think the glassware is just a small detail that says a lot about that particular place.
It just shows that they care. I mean,
Yeah.
you go to Mead Hall. Have you guys been to Mead Hall in Boston?
Yes. Great.
And they just, every station, they have their tap. Let's say it's Lagunitas. Right under there is all Lagunitas glassware.
Yeah.
And the next one, CBC, all under there. So, I mean, it shows that they care, I feel, They're trying different stuff. I like it.
But you'd be shocked how many places don't clean their lines. Like,
Oh yeah.
my brother worked at a restaurant that's pretty well known, and he told me one time that the bartender was joking, and he stuck a straw up the spout of the draft, and black stuff just started coming down. And they were known as a craft beer place because when the GM took over, he brought in a ton of craft beers, but they weren't cleaning the lines. It was just, and he was like, yeah, the bartender would stick stuff up late night and just watch the gook, like everything just come out.
At least once a week. I mean, people do it between kegs even. I mean, at least once a week you got to clear those puppies out, It's crazy.
Yeah.
It takes skill doing it, because let's say you're a brewery that brings in like a blueberry Berliner or whatever, and then you want to put like a nice, nuanced pale ale on there next week. You're going to get residual flavor unless you're really taking care of it properly.
Or a sour, you put a sour on, and put something else after, you're
On a
fucked.
stout.
Well,
Yeah.
you can get people really sick if you put something like a wild ale on, and then you run something else through that. Having
Very true.
things mixed like that can get people really sick. So breweries or just bars in general have to be cleaning lines much more frequently than a lot of places do.
Speaking of sours, I think that's definitely something we need to dedicate a couple episodes to, because
The most overrated beer of all time.
Oh, well, we have a hot take. You're definitely going to be on. No, but it's definitely like, it seems to be the way that craft beer is kind of heading to. We've talked about this, the fruited Berliner Weiss, so we're definitely going to dedicate an episode or two for that. So what else, boys? Earlier we were talking about Untapped. What do you guys think about Untapped? I kind of think it's more of a thing just to log my beers. I used to be huge into it, and then kind of made me feel like an alcoholic, so I stopped. But yeah, what do you guys think?
So
popular.
I've oh, sorry.
Sure. So actually, I like Untapped a lot. I just like it for the fact of just having like a history. It's like you can just chronicle the things you try, and just like Kirk said earlier, and he's like, oh, I think I've had that, and then you can go try it and be like, oh, you know what? 3 years ago, my palate, wasn't really that into this, but now it has. So I like the ability to kind of chronicle, how your taste changes, your the things you're into and stuff, and just having a record of what you've had. Do I like look at it like a social media thing where I want to like go on there and look at stuff? No, I just more of just tracking things,
Sure, like there's even breweries now that like they'll have their list on a screen, and underneath they'll have the Untapped. That's kind of weird. I think like you kind of want to like give them a good rating because
I always feel bad.
underneath. Yeah,
Exactly.
but
You're like, shit,
you guys
this
Is
suck.
this you? Is this you?
Yeah, 2 stars. You guys suck.
That's right, yeah.
So Shank, what were you saying?
So I like Untapped for that reason of a personal log to see what you've tried and what you like as an individual. I don't like the way that it's impacted the craft beer community, I guess, because you do have breweries that will advertise based off of what Untapped says. And, I'm not a huge IPA drinker. So, but you'll see IPAs that aren't very good, and most people would agree, but they're still 4.5 out of 5 on Untapped because it's an IPA from Treehouse or Trillium or wherever.
Oh yeah, Treehouse IPA is guaranteed 4.25, guaranteed, no matter what.
They could piss into a can and it's still going to get 4 stars. But you'll get certain things like lagers that, no matter how good it actually is, it's going to get buried in there because it's not a style that, is sexy or, that is hot right now. So it's, I like the idea for personal use, but, as the way that it's kind of impacted the way that breweries operate, that to me, that kind of drives me crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like Beer Advocate and all those. If you look at the top-rated beers and everything, it's either an IPA or a stout, right? You're not going to see a lager at the top,
right?
So I mean, I agree. I use it just because I like to remember what I drank and what I thought of it, 3 years or 4 years ago, and I'm one of those. I got ADD at beer. I like to try different things. I don't want to. I had that. I'd rather try this new because there's so many beers out there. But in my world, what I do, when people rate me, I'm like, I try to ignore it, but it's hard. But I think in the brewery world too, I mean, it's like you gotta try to ignore that because it's not what you're. There are a lot of good beers out there rated low because people are like, I don't like lagers or smoked beer, and so they give them a 1.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I hopefully breweries aren't focusing on that too much.
We had I follow this local liquor store or whatever, and they put a question up like, what is the next big beer craze? And they think it's going to be fruited IPAs, like smoothie IPAs. And I was like, nah, I really think the lager, Pilsner, Hell's Lager, whatever, I think that's going to make the big comeback because I feel like a lot of people are looking into that. And it's cheaper.
Well, and if I can just jump in real quick, I think that's true also now that we're kind of in, with coronavirus and everybody's stocking up on things, people can go get 2 cases of an IPA. That's not going to last. That's not going to last very long. That IPA in most cases is going to start to turn in a week or 2, and it's the taste isn't going to be the same, or it's going to start to have different aromas. Whereas a lager, that'll last you for a while. You can, as long as you keep it cold, a lager will last much longer than an IPA will. So, and that's just something that I've come across is, I've stocked up on IPAs, and by the time I get around to them, they don't taste the same, taste the same way that I expected when I got them.
So
Untapped is a cesspool. It is. You think Discord's a cesspool, everybody? Untapped is a fucking. I don't either. I am like the king of. Discord's not. That's a whole other subject another time. Discord's the best thing in the world, but fucking Untapped's a fucking cesspool. And I'll tell you, like when it first came out years ago, JC at Trillium would interact with everybody. Yeah. It was awesome. Yeah. The breweries would interact with you. I remember I'd say stuff. We'd joke around. It was fantastic. But then to what Kirk Stess said and Shank said, it got to the point where you had all these fucking idiots just rating beers because they didn't like the style. They'd kill it. It fucking pissed me off. I'm like, I'm just done. Like, I'm done with these stupid idiots just fucking saying, oh, I don't like a wheat beer, so I'm going to give it a 1. But I'm going to give this, New England IPA a 5. And it's just like, oh, Boom Sauce is fantastic. But like, it's just like I fucking hate that app. Too many stupid people it's like Yelp. Great beers get killed because some idiot doesn't like the style. And they shouldn't rate it. I hate it.
Yeah, so I'm going to tie this into Discord. I'm going to make a parallel between Discord and Untapped here, right? So if you go into any random Discord server or whatever, you might hit some random idiot just saying some shit that you just don't agree with, right? Like, someone might send you to the North Shore, an hour and a half drive to try some beef, and they might, send you in the complete opposite direction. Or you can go on Discord, right? So I've been lucky over time.
Right chicken parm.
So I've gotten lucky over time that I've built up like a good amount of friends on Untappd. So when I go to check a beer, I don't look at the random like Joe Schmo ratings. I purely look at the ratings that people that I trust their opinions have rated a beer. So once you can kind of develop a friends list of people that you trust, then you can like look at a beer like, okay, Mike Smith thinks this is good, and I trust Mike Smith's opinion. So you might, That's what I like it for.
And I agree with you, but the other thing that would drive me nuts is you get the people that are just fucking contrarians, and you'll have an unbelievable beer, and they just want to be that asshole that says, "I'm going to give it a 1 because everyone else is giving it a 5." Yeah, that fucking
Sounds like
pisses me
Discord too.
well, I just exactly. That's I was drawing the parallel. You're just like
Andy Mayo drink beer?
I also have for metal. I go to. I'm making a brewery up. I'm going to Other Half, and because I want to get their stout metal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that sucks. You know, once they start promoting their own stuff, and that kind of.
Have you seen their glasses? Have you seen the Other Half's Tiku glasses
Oh, yeah.
with the broccoli on them, and then the
the broccoli.
Mario
Oh yeah,
Brothers?
bro.
I mean, come on, those are
DDH.
fantastic glasses.
No, bro. DDH broccoli. It makes it taste delicious. What are you gonna do? All right, boys. We're running close to a half hour now. I kind of like keeping it at that time. Any last thoughts? I love what we're doing here. We definitely want people talking on whatever, Twitter, Discord. Let us know what you're feeling. If you want to be on the show, let us know. If you want to know what we should talk about, let us know. We love bridging the gap between craft beer and the Kirk Minahan world, so let's do it. Any last thoughts, boys? No, we got to get some more guests on. I think we were saying earlier, Quantum Week Chris Laura, shout out. She seemed to really be into the show, so thank you for watching. And we always love a sour beer fan. So let's do some sours. I think next week we'll pick another Oktoberfest maybe, or another brown, something like that. I think I'm going to look for a good brown. I think I might try that brown that Kim Jong-un put into our Twitter thread. I think I'm going to try to pick that one up.
it was. I'll tell you right now, it's Newburgh, New York. It was fantastic. It's an English style. It's 4.2%. It was clean. It's like a phenomenal Newcastle. And I think I told you this before, Cameo. I think Poppy was on one of the original episodes. Newcastle was the first like non Bud Light that I ever had in my entire life, and that's what really got me to love other beers and Bud Light. And it's a fantastic Newcastle.
Sure,
that's how I describe it.
Yeah, for me it was that one in Sam Oktoberfest, so I could definitely see it. I love those beers. So yeah, man, everybody, thank you for joining us. Appreciate it. Hopefully see you in the future. And cheers from KMS Brews.
Cheers.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
My butt plug. Oop.